Good morning everyone. In this video I am going to discuss another important property of the fluid, that is capillarity. So before we move into capillarity, basically you have observed this capillarity action in plants, like how roots take plants from water. Sorry, how roots take water from plants. So basically, suppose this is like a tree. These are the roots, and somewhere here water table is there. So how this water is rising into this roots and then this water is supplied to the whole plant, that particular action is due to capillarity action. So we will see before we'll look into capillarity, we have to discuss two very important things, that is force of adhesion and force of cohesion. So cohesion and adhesion, I'm very sure adhesion word you have heard it before, because adhesives are there, for example Fevicol and Fevikwik. So they are called adhesive because they can stick any two surfaces. So basically these both adhesion and cohesion are attractive forces, but cohesion is force of attraction. Cohesion is force of attraction between the molecules of same type, and adhesion is force of attraction between the molecules of two different types. For example, if I talk about cohesion, I will be saying cohesion between water molecules, or cohesion between molecules of mercury, or cohesion between molecules of any other same type. But when I talk about adhesion, it is for two different surfaces or two different types of things. For example, when we talk about adhesive, we say, let's say, paper and wall. So with the help of adhesive, you can stick paper to a wall. Similarly, here adhesion force can be between water and a glass tube, or between mercury and a glass tube. So that is our force of adhesion and cohesion. Based on this, we define liquids into two categories, that is wetting liquids and non-wetting liquids. So basically, when force of adhesion is more than force of cohesion, that particular condition, that particular fluid will be wetting that surface. For example, I'll take a very simple example. Here you have two surfaces and two different types of liquid. So suppose you put a water droplet here. You put water here basically. So when you put water, initially it will be like this, and then slowly it will be spreading over the surface. So what is happening? Water molecules, and this is, let's say, our glass surface. So, and this is water. So because here force of adhesion of water to the glass is more than the force of cohesion between the water molecules, it is able to wet the surfaces. Such liquids are called wetting liquids. Such liquids are called what? Wetting liquids. Whereas here if I take mercury, so mercury will be, initially it will be like this, and then it will be like this, and then it will be like this. That means mercury doesn't want to adhere to the glass. So what is happening? The force between the molecules of mercury is much more than the force between molecule of mercury and glass. So here you see, this will be the non-wetting liquid. Sorry, this will be the non-wetting liquid. Now based on this, one more thing that has to be defined is, the condition for wetting and non-wetting is, first here cohesion is less as compared to adhesion. This is an important condition that you should note for wetting liquids. And for non-wetting liquids, cohesion is more than adhesion. Cohesion is more than adhesion. So always here you should note that this is the angle of contact. This angle should be, sorry, yes, when you draw a tangent, so this you have to draw a tangent on the surface. So the angle that you have to take is always away from the liquid. So away from the liquid you have to measure the angle. So here also away from the liquid. So what you will see here, the angle is, so you can observe here the angle will be acute or less than 90 degree, whereas here the angle will be obtuse. So this is also one condition, that for wetting liquids, angle, which angle? Angle of contact. Contact of water and glass. Contact of mercury and glass. Here you please note, this is mercury. Mercury and glass interaction, water and glass interaction. So basically, I'll again repeat. We have discussed forces of adhesion and cohesion, and based on the intensity of force, we are defining liquids into two categories, wetting and non-wetting liquids. For wetting liquids, cohesion is more as compared to adhesion. Both are there, but cohesion is comparatively less as compared to adhesion. Whereas in non-wetting, cohesion is more. That means molecules of mercury want to remain with each other, and that is why they are trying to minimize their contact with the glass tube, whereas this will be spreading over that glass. Here theta is less than 90 degree. Theta is nothing but the angle of contact. Here theta is more than 90 degree. And also you should note that for pure water and glass, for pure water and clean glass, again this angle is angle of contact, so it is defined for two surfaces. So in this case theta is 0 degrees, that you should note down. Now, because of these two properties, cohesion and adhesion, liquids tend to rise or fall in a small diameter tubes. This is nothing but capillarity. Based on this cohesion and adhesion property, liquids tend to rise. Whether cohesion is more or adhesion is more, rise or fall depend on that. So for example, here I have taken an open container. Please consider this as open container and consider this as the surface of water. Up to this level water is filled. Now as soon as you insert a glass tube, but please note the diameter of the tube is a very important property. You cannot use a bigger diameter tube. So basically the limit is diameter should be uh, less than 1.5 centimeter. Approximately this is the condition at which you can observe the capillarity action. So small diameter tube only you can see the effect. Basically, it is not like you capillarity will not occur, but the height of capillarity rise or fall will be such that you will not be able to observe it. So in a larger diameter tubes also capillarity action will be there, but you cannot observe that height change. That height change will be very less, as it is inversely proportional to diameter. We'll look into that. So here what is happening, the moment you insert a small diameter glass tube, this is a glass tube, please you see, this is a glass tube that I am inserting in this water. Now what is happening, when we insert this glass tube into this water container, the liquid will have tendency to adhere more to the glass tube and it will be rising up, and that is called capillarity rise. So this is a case of capillarity rise. Whereas if you take a container full of mercury and then you put a glass tube in this container full of mercury, then what you will observe, there is a fall of mercury level in the tube. Means outside mercury is up to this level, but inside this tube mercury has fallen down. So you see a fall. This is your fall HF and this is your rise HR, or you can denote it by HC, any which ways you can denote it. So here this is capillarity fall. Why here rise has occurred? Because here adhesion is more than cohesion. Here cohesion is more than adhesion. Okay, so these are the two cases of capillarity rise or fall. The reason is cohesion and adhesion. The concept is due to this cohesion and adhesion, liquids tend to rise or fall in small diameter tubes. This is the whole phenomena. This is the reason why plants, the roots of the plants are able to take water from the groundwater. Okay, so now I'll just quickly go through the derivation of the capillarity rise, like how will you calculate this, how much rise has taken. So simply you have seen that this is the container we had, and then this is the glass tube that we were having. Okay, so it's a small diameter tube basically, but here I'm just enlarging it to just show it. So quickly we'll see here water is there, let's say. Now as you have inserted this tube of diameter d, this tube has a diameter d, okay, and the liquid has a density rho. Okay, so you see that the liquid has risen in this particular tube. Now if you see, if you look at the surface, basically the surface is like this. Okay, here this surface I am enlarging. So what you will see, and here glass is there. Due to the surface tension, this surface will try to minimize, and the surface tension force will be always tangential. But glass molecules will also try to pull it up. So there will be net force, reaction force, which will be in this direction. Corresponding to surface tension, this is the reaction surface tension force. So here you can see this will be at some angle theta, let's say. This is nothing but our contact angle. Similarly here also you can see, similarly all around, basically all around you will be observing. For example, it will be looking something like this. From all around you can observe this. It is like tangential at an angle theta with the vertical this force. So all around you can observe. So you see for this glass tube, let's say average this much is the height rise. So this is the capillarity rise. So now I can see at this interface one force is acting upwards and one its weight will also be acting downwards. So just balancing those two forces, what will I observe? So let's say this is sigma dash or sigma. Basically it's a surface tension reaction force which is equal to the surface tension only, because there is no other force in that direction. So you see sigma cos theta, because I am taking the vertical component. Horizontal components will be cancelling out each other. So you just imagine that the horizontal components will be cancelling out, you will notice, and the vertical components will be balancing the weight. So sigma cos theta will be acting all around. That means throughout the periphery of this circle. So it will be 2 pi r. This is the net force upwards. I'll say vertical force. And net force downward, vertically upward basically, and this is downward force. Downward is what? Weight of the fluid. So what is the weight? Rho GV, mass into gravity, right? So mass can be written as density into volume. Now rho is the density of the fluid which has risen. G is acceleration due to gravity. What is the volume of this? This is nothing but a cylinder with height hc and diameter d. So when you write, it will be pi by 4 d square into h. See, this r is nothing but the radius of the glass tube and d is nothing but the diameter of the glass tube. So now you just have to equate these two forces. Very quickly I will be going through this. Sigma cos theta into 2 pi r is equals to rho g pi by 4 d square into hc. I have denoted this rise by hc. Now pi to pi cancel. 2r is nothing but diameter, so one diameter cancel. Now what will you observe here? Hc is nothing but 4 sigma cos theta by rho gd. This is the final expression for height of capillary rise. Similar observation will be there for capillary fall, where sigma is nothing but force of surface tension, theta is nothing but angle of contact, rho is the density of the fluid, d is the diameter of the glass tube, and g is the acceleration due to gravity. Now for a particular liquid interface, these values will be constant and diameter of the tube and HC will be having an inverse relationship. This is the reason that if the diameter of the tube is large, the rise or fall will be less, so you will not be able to observe it with the naked eyes. So that is why we keep the diameter of the tube as less as possible to observe the capillary rise. Capillary or capillarity. Now quickly I'll give you a problem based on this. Very simple problem we'll give. So basically question is that capillary rise in a glass tube capillary rise in a glass tube of okay diameter is that we have to find, sorry. So capillary rise in a glass tube is not to exceed 0.2 mm of water. That means there is a glass tube which is inserted in water, and the rise should not be more than 0.2 mm in that particular tube. This is the condition. So what should be the minimum size what should be the minimum size given that now surface tension is given that surface tension for water air contact is 0.0725 and the units will be Newton per meter. Please note here the units will be meter only. It is height, right? So units of length will be the units of capillarity rise. Now here see the angle of contact is not mentioned to you, but you remember that for water and glass tube we can take the angle of contact as 0. Basically for pure water and glass we take it. So here nothing is mentioned, so we can easily assume theta is 0. So we have to find the diameter of the tube such that this much should be the rise in that tube. So it is very simple. HC is equals to 4 sigma cos theta by rho GD, which we have just derived. This much should be the rise, but rise is already given. Sigma is also given, that is the surface tension for water air contact. Theta is angle of contact, which is 0, so cos 0 is 1. And rho is nothing but the density of water. G is the acceleration due to gravity, you can take it as 9.81 meter per second square. And D is nothing but you have to find it. So you can put the values and get the answer. So 0.2 into 10 to the power minus 3, because I'm putting everything in meters, because the other things I'll be keeping in SI unit. 4 into 0.0725. This is 0.0725 and cos 0 is nothing but 1, but I'll mention cos 0. Please note nothing is mentioned about the angle, that's why I've taken 0 degrees. Because for clean glass tube and pure water, this angle of contact is 0 degrees. Here it is 1000 and G value is 9.81 into 8 into D. Sorry. And D you can find it out. It will be coming out to be 0.148 meters. This much should be the diameter of the tube. If this is the diameter of the tube and it is inserted in water where the surface tension of water in glass is this much, you will get a rise of 0.2 mm. So either way you can understand the question. So basically D is equals to 14.8 centimeters should be the diameter of the glass tube. Now I'll give you a very easy question. Sample problem it is, you have to solve, post your doubts or the answer in the comment section. So find out the capillarity rise in a glass tube. So this time diameter is given to you and rise or fall you have to find out. In a glass tube of 2.5 mm diameter, when immersed in when immersed in first case it is immersed in water, second case it is immersed in mercury. So you will be observing in one case it will be rise and in the other case it will be fall. Okay, so surface tension value is given to you. For water it is 0.0725 newtons per meter, and for mercury it is 0.52 newton per meter. So this is for mercury denoting it by Hg, and this is for water denoting it by H2. And the angle of contact is also given to you. For water it is theta is 0 angle of contact between the water and glass, and for mercury and glass it is 130 degrees. Also you should know the density of mercury is nothing but 13600 kilograms per meter cube at the standard conditions. For water it is 1000 kilogram per meter cube. So easily you can find it out. You have to use the formula Hc is equals to 4 sigma cos theta by rho gd. Theta is also given to you. Sigma is also given to you. Please note this is for water. Theta is 0 and this is for mercury. So I hope you understood this, and then you try to solve this problem. It is a very basic level problem that we are discussing in this. Thank you so much.